Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back here to the launch pad. You're hearing the voice of Zachary Aubert. I'm the host here at the pad, and you're joining us for our live launch test coverage of Starship SN15. We've been waiting as the day progresses to see that there's some activity at the pad that's symbolizing that it looks like they're going for an attempt, and we are finally seeing that now. So we're going to update our timeline here. We do know that the road is closed. We do know the village has been evacuated, and we're waiting for pad clear as we progress towards it. We want to give a big thanks to our friends over at spadre.com for this great view. This is 6 miles away. That haze you're seeing is atmospheric distortion because of the humidity and the distance. This is about 6 miles away from outside the exclusion zone, but we are very grateful for this feed and happy that it's finally clear enough to see Starship for the first time in many weeks on a test day. We will, of course, bring up the SpaceX live feed when it is available. Everything's been progressing well. The NOTAMs are in place, the TFRs are in place, the FAA approval's there, the FAA advisor or observer is there. Everything is there except the notice from SpaceX of a test. They've given the alert notices, the evacuation notices. We did just see that over the last hour, all the flaps have been unstrapped, tested, and now are sitting fully straight out like they would be during launch. We also have seen a crane go up the side and activate the flight termination system, or at least we're assuming that's what they did. They spent quite a bit of time there, and we're currently seeing the pad slowly clear. So once we see pad clear, that is when we can expect activity to really pick up, and we're going to be live here. I'm going to be jumping on and off monitoring as we get updates from some friends on the ground, and just seeing hopefully an update from SpaceX on when they will do an attempt here. Now, SpaceX doesn't normally go live until about 3 to 5 minutes before their actual test. So that will be quite last minute, but the next big thing once we see that pad clear is going to be the recondenser and the tank farm activity, and that's when we really know that we are getting started. If you're new here to the launch pad, welcome. Here at the launch pad, we cover everything space, space flight, space engineering, and the future of space and STEM. This is our live coverage of Starship SN15. It's been a little bit since we did one of these, but excited to be back with some new graphic overlays and everything for you. And I will, of course, be here through the day to hopefully seeing a launch and landing. We're not going to say the S word because we're not going to see that today. We're going to see a launch, and that's what we're hoping for. The launch window does extend until 8 p.m. Central Time today, and it's just coming up to 2 o'clock. So they do still have enough time for an attempt or two should they have to recycle for any reason. But we're just waiting to see that pad clear, and that's when things can become active. You can see the camera shaking a little bit. That's because of the winds. Right now they've got about 13 to 14 mile an hour ground winds. Yesterday's attempt, we were ready to go live for it, but it was scrubbed due to high altitude winds. So lots of things that they have to track to do a Starship flight, but we're going to be live here. So if you have questions, feel free to send your questions in. We'll be answering those, and I'll jump on and off camera answering those as well. If you're new, make sure you follow us over on Twitter at TLPN_official. That's where we live tweet all of our updates as things happen in the space industry. Plug in on our Discord to go behind the scenes if you're interested. You can connect with me directly, get early access depending on different tiers and stuff. And if you'd like to help support the channel and get early access to videos or be included in future videos and get some discount perks, check out our Patreon. Everything from that goes 100% back into the channel. We've got some big plans to upgrade our studio here over the summer. And then we will hopefully be down in Florida at Kennedy Space Center for the Inspiration 4 launch. We're currently making plans for that. So any support is not expected, but it's greatly, greatly appreciated. Bill, oh no, we can't see anything fog. So that's atmospheric distortion. There's a little fog today, but nothing crazy. But we're keeping an eye out that. We will definitely have the SpaceX cameras like we did all the other times, which are the onboard cameras. So we will have those. This camera is thanks to our friends over at spadre.com. So today we can at least see Starship. Most days it's just gray. So we used to keep this camera up, close to 24/7 as we could. But over the last few months, it's been pretty much just gray. So SN11 flashbacks. it's getting there. It is a little bit clearer than SN11 was. Some of the other teams that are down there, NASA Spaceflight and Everyday Astronaut, they can at least see the rocket. The cameras that are very close to Starship can see the rocket across the road, so a lot less fog than we had on SN11. But hopefully it'll clear off even more so we can have a nicer view here, and then go from there. Normally it does burn off a little bit more in the afternoon, but that's when the atmosphere normally gets a little more humid, so kind of passes in and out of that haze. But we're excited that we can at least see the shape of it on screen and know that it's there. We'll be able to see any ground activity as well from this view. So we're keeping an eye out for that, because the next steps are going to be pad clear, and then the recondenser will become active. And that's when we really can have a rough idea of when there will be a launch attempt. Generally speaking, once we see recondenser active, we're between 45 minutes and an hour from an attempt for it. And we'll be keeping an eye out for that there. Yep, they do have their own cameras, and they have their own land that they're able to set up on. So absolutely, if you'd like to have some clear views, definitely check them out. They're amazing views and coverage as well. And we hope to be able to get some of our own cameras down there in the near future as well, thanks to our Patreon supporters. So we're looking into how to make that possible. And when we'll be able to make that possible. But hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be able to have something a little more substantial for you guys here. But in the meantime, we've got this until we have SpaceX. But if you have questions on SpaceX or Starship, let us know in the chat. I'll be answering those for you here. We're expecting another 10-kilometer altitude attempt today, where we will see a launch. Slowly, one after another, each engine will be throttled down and shut off. Then the final engine will be kept on until we reach apogee. It'll do a little kick to send the Starship into the belly flop maneuver. Once it belly flops, that engine will shut down. Starship will belly flop down to the ground until very low to the surface. We will see at least 2, if not 3 of the engines ignite and do kind of a kickback maneuver to get Starship back in a vertical leg deploy, and then we will hopefully see a landing. Now we are seeing a few more vehicles leaving the pad here, so we're just waiting to see how many more vehicles need to clear the pad before everything can become active. They obviously make sure that they can have a safe facility and don't start any of the fuel processing or anything like that until they are ready and have all of their crew cleared. So we got a question here from Bill. Same legs as the previous block design. From what we understand, yes, they haven't done any leg changes. We do know that there were hundreds of little changes in this one, but we haven't been really told what they are for it. It definitely is a cleaner looking Starship, a lot more panels on the side. You can just make it out through the haze, but on the left side, there's that black chunk in the middle. That's the largest chunk of heat tiles that we have seen yet on a Starship, and we're expecting with SN16, which will probably be having come in just the next couple of weeks, will be the first one to actually have heat tiles from the entire width that it will have once complete. Not head to toe yet, but the entire width of one side of a Starship. So be exciting to see that. It also looks like that one's going to be at least 3 to 4 rings high of solar or of heat tiles. So we're excited to slowly see that side of Starship get covered in the tiles for reentry testing. Now, they don't really need to put the whole thing covered yet because they're not reentering, but they're wanting to test the best way to adhere those, to secure them. Even the material, we know we saw after the static fire test of SM15, some of them had cracked. So we are watching to see what happens with those as they make improvements. These are an entirely different type of heat tile compared to the space shuttle. The space shuttle, each tile was a custom one. It each had a serial number, and if one needed to be replaced, they had to manufacture one of those, and that's why refurbishment took so much longer. Starship, I believe, has two sizes of hexagons, and it's either one or the other, and it fits for it. There might be some edge ones. We're not too sure how that's working, but they want to make it as quick and easy as possible that they have, a couple bins they have to go to, and they just always have them ready because that's how they can do the quick turnaround should they need to replace any sort of heat tiles there. But good question there. The legs, we haven't really seen an inside shot because of that new fence that they've put up. We get a few less shots than we used to of kind of the underneath the Starship. We get some while it's moving along, being moved out to the pad. But they looked like they were the similar legs. By SN20, we were expecting to maybe see an upgraded leg because SN20 will be paired with booster number 3 of the super heavy booster, and most likely will be making the first orbital attempt. And we're expecting that sometime this summer. Any word on when they will shift the top header tank lower on the vehicle? The crew compartment will be where the current top header tank is. So good question there as well, Bill. There's no exact plan that they've said for that. It's very possible that the header tank will stay up there. Like right now, it's being used to help with balance. It's used somewhat as like a ballast tank and things like that. It's very possible, like if we look at the cargo versions, that's kind of going to open up like a clam or something like that. They could still do the clam, but it won't go all the way to the nose. There could be that little chunk of the header tank. It is a big tank when you think of it next to a person, but in comparison to the actual Starship, it's not that large. So it's very possible that we'd see kind of more like a square clamshell open rather than the pointed end one we've seen in some of the early renders for it. That's going to be going there testing. Obviously, engines and the header tanks have been the biggest issues they've been having, and that header tank is for landing. So I think if they figure out a way to land it, I'm not sure they're going to want to change the positioning of it because then they kind of be having to retest everything they've done for it. But it could be possible. Also, if you're thinking back to, other vehicles and like airplanes, a lot of people are like, oh, it's too dangerous if the header tank's up there. Well, first of all, you're in a rocket and you got a massive fuel tank below you. The header tank's not your problem if something goes wrong. It's the big one below you. But if you think to like an airplane, the wings of an airplane are a fuel tank. So it's very possible that we won't see that moved and you'll just see that, there'll be the header tank, 6 to 8 layers of crew space and cargo, and then the main fuel tanks as well. So something we're going to have to wait and see what they do, but we don't have a direct answer on that one yet, unfortunately. Chris from Facebook, I hope they will land this one without a problem. Have enjoyed watching each of these launches. Yeah, hopefully, Chris. Fifth, what is this? Fifth? We've had SN 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11. Did we do a 12? I don't know. It's a blur. This is the 5th or 6th one that we've done. So we're hopefully going to be seeing a successful launch and landing. Obviously, they can launch. Obviously, they can belly flop. They can get back in the vertical position, which I think a lot of people thought that was going to be the harder part, was going from a belly flop, doing that pendulum swing back to vertical. But they've shown they can do that since the first one. And they are now doing, it's just nailing the landing. Yeah, it's the 5th one. Thanks, Chris. Didn't think there was a 12th, but because I know they canceled 13 and 14. So yeah, they canceled 12 too. And we're expecting them to do that again. SN15 we'll see, SN16, but it's very possible that 18 and 19 and maybe 17, but 18 and 19 we're pretty sure are being skipped to go straight to SN20 because they're kind of doing them in chunks of 5 for the changes to Starship. So SN15 is kind of like, if you wanted to think of it, almost like Block 2 of Starship. They've made some changes to it. Obviously, we're going to have a lot more blocks than just Block 5, like with the Falcon 9, and then all the variations as well. But this is kind of a new vehicle, not necessarily structurally, but a lot of the operational stuff inside has had changes. So that's a fog mixed with atmospheric distortion because of the humidity. Just because of how far south this is and the heat down there, it's over 100 degrees. We've heard 90 to 100 degrees, so the humidity, and you're right on the ocean, causes that atmospheric distortion there. So Not near as bad as it was with SN11. That one, you couldn't see really anything through the fog, even across the street. This one, you can get pretty clear shots at all the closer cameras that we know and love from some of the other channels that you probably follow. But this camera is located about 6 miles away. Thanks again to our friends at spadre.com for letting us tap into this and bring this to you here until the actual SpaceX feed goes live. So we're excited to be live here until we see an attempt. We're going to be hanging out and answering your questions as we wait. We'll be progressing that timeline along. Right now, we're still waiting for that pad to be cleared. The village has been started to be evacuated, so we are waiting for that. And hopefully we will see a launch attempt here today. I believe all the failures so far have been engine to and header tank related. I believe it was SN8 that Elon had said they had issues with the pressure, and SN9, and that's why they were having issues with the engine, was because they weren't getting solid enough pressure from the header tanks, and they weren't getting a balanced mixture for it. I mean, we're literally talking rocket science of mixing two chemicals to have combustion. So, yeah, the vehicle design, though, absolutely looks solid. I don't think we're going to see major changes other than we'll see like the leg change for it. We'll see, obviously, it'll look very different once one whole side is covered in heat tiles. And then we're talking about the version and kind of the different models that we'll see of Starship, of the Lunar Starship, of the Mars Starship, the Earth to Earth Starship, on what that'll look like. Lots of different options that we'll be seeing in the near future. I would assume, like by the end of the decade, it is very possible that we'll see, starships flying through the sky. As they set that goal of kind of 40 minutes or under anywhere on the Earth using Starship. So exciting time to be alive. Once Starship's safe, maybe hopefully one day we can fly on it. We'll be doing a flash update about the Blue Origin announcement today as they open up their seats there. So civilian space is starting to open up, and it's an exciting time to be here. And here at the pad, we try to cover everything space flight, space engineering, and that future of space and STEM. And we're excited to be kind of tracking this for you and trying to bring it to you all in one place where you can just follow everything that is happening, because there is so much going on. If you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Zachary Albert. I'm the host here at the pad. You're watching our live launch and hopefully successful landing coverage of Starship SN15 from Starbase, Texas. This will be a 10-kilometer high altitude test. We're currently waiting for pad clear, and then we'll be standing by for the recondenser. Once we see that, that's when we have a better idea of when there will be a possible launch attempt. Generally, we're about 45 minutes to an hour after that recondenser becomes active. SpaceX generally goes live about 5 to 6 minutes, down to all the way to 3 minutes before their actual launch. So a little bit shorter than we normally see with Starlink, where they go about 13 minutes before launch. So we will be keeping an eye out on their Twitter and their website to see if we get any sort of confirmation from them on just what we can expect. Let's see here. So we do know that SpaceX's second jet just landed in Brownsville about 17 minutes ago. So it's very possible that Elon or someone else was on board of that, as it would make sense that that's why it's coming down to Brownsville. I believe the first jet. Now we do know that Elon is hosting Saturday Night Live in just a few days, and was in New York yesterday. I'm not sure that we have seen that plane leave yet for it. But yeah, we're keeping an eye on that. Hey, Marcus, how's it going? Good to see you here. But we're keeping an eye on all those things. But if you have questions, drop them in the chat. We'll be staying live all the way either through launch and landing or through that S word that we're not going to say because it's not going to happen. And we'll be here. So send in your questions. I'll jump on and off, but you're going to be watching our live launch and landing coverage of Starship SN15 right here on the launch pad. Stay with us. So a couple good questions coming in here. Ryan mentioning that space sightseeing flight, July 20th. Yep, we're keeping an eye on that one. And question from Elton: why is your shot so foggy and other sites aren't? Distance or angle? Great question there. There are a number of different reasons why there are different views and why some are foggy and not. Our camera is currently about 7 miles away, thanks to our friends over at um, thanks to our friends at spadre.com. So that is why we are having that little bit more of atmospheric distortion because of the humidity and the heat, and we're shooting over the water, that inlet to the bay. So that is why some of the other angles that you see actually are cameras that are like right across the street, or are at different angles towards it. And just also the different types of cameras that exist. Some are, $25,000 cameras. Some of them are not for it, but a big part of it is the atmospheric distortion and just the the type of air that's in there. The cameras that you normally see that are really close up are the ones that are the clearest. So we're hoping to get some cameras down there, thanks to our Patreon supporters. If you want to help us be able to do that and bring you them, if we can get cameras down there, we will try to bring them to you live 24/7 to be able to access. You can join us over on Patreon. The link's in the description there. It's not expected, but it's greatly appreciated. And cameras and our Kennedy Space Center broadcasting capabilities are kind of our next two big goals, as well as upgrading our in-house studio here as well. Yeah, Gulf Coast haze for when you want a good look at what you're breathing. Great one, James, there. But yeah, if you're just joining us, we're keeping an eye on it. We're currently waiting for pad clear for Starship SN15's attempt. We've got a question from, I'm going to say this wrong, and I'm sorry. Can Podge. I know I said that wrong. Where is SN12 to 14? So Starship, SpaceX actually kind of scrapped them because they moved straight on to SN15. So SN8 through SN14 were all going to be the same design. SN15 through 19 are the same design. And then SN22, we don't know yet what, will be another design. Now, visually, they didn't change a lot, but there's a lot of internals that are a lot cleaner, better wiring and lines. There are some changes to different things internally. Elon hasn't said a lot. We're waiting for that 1 year update that's coming up to be almost 2 years old that we've missed. And that's when we're hoping that we will hear more about what the changes have been made between the models. And that is why. So because they had SN8, 9, 10, and 11, once they had gone to SN9 and SN10 was on the pad, they announced that 12, 13, and 14 were being scrapped, and they would move straight to SN15 because they had received enough data from the first four of them that they felt comfortable moving on to this kind of block 2 or next generation of the test vehicles for the prototypes of Starship. So that's what they're doing. I don't think anyone thought SN8 and 9 were going to be as near as successful as they were. I don't think SpaceX maybe did either. And that's why we saw, SN8 through 14 originally planned with the first design before they made some changes. But they were very successful. And, Starship has been very much a success. This is a prototype vehicle. We need to keep that in mind. Once we see the tank farms and prop load, starting at that point, really at any time, it could explode. This is a prototype vehicle, and we just need to keep that in mind. That's why, like in SN11, unfortunately, the fog took away all the amazing views of them using the flight termination system and blowing a Starship out of the sky, which we all dreamed of seeing one day during testing. But hopefully we will see that. The shakiness you see on the camera, that's because of the winds. There are about 14 mile-an-hour winds right now. Shouldn't be that big of an issue at this point. The reason they scrubbed yesterday was due to high-altitude winds for it. But we're watching as the pad gets cleared. The flight termination system we saw become active coming up about an hour ago. The road has been closed since noon local time, and it's now coming up to 2:30. The window they have for testing is until, I believe it's 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. I believe it's 8 o'clock tonight. So they do still have, over 5 hours that they can do this test. We did see the Finns doing some testing. They've been fully unstrapped and are in their launch positioning straight out to the sides. They're pretty much straight in line with this camera, which is why we don't see the fin shape on the screen here. But once the SpaceX goes live, we will hopefully be able to see that there. But some great questions, keep them coming. You're watching our live launch test coverage of Starship SN15 as we await its high altitude test in Starbase, Texas. Stay with us. So we got an interesting question from Orange Guy on YouTube. Will a Starship ever be able to be private civilian owned like other vehicles? And when I first read that, I was like, ooh, that'd be cool. Like, I'd love to own my own Starship. I'm not sure my neighbors would love it, but that's okay. But no, that'll not something like Starship. Starship is, if you boil it down to what a rocket is, it is a weapon of destruction for war. That's what it is. The first rockets that we saw under NASA were literally missiles that we strapped humans to the top of for it. Now, if we are talking about something like Dream Chaser, which if you haven't seen that video, take a couple minutes, jump on over to our channel on YouTube. You can see we did a video of the announcements about Dream Chaser. A vehicle like that, you might be a little more likely, because that one you need a rocket to launch it, but it's not a rocket in itself. It's more of a plane. So I could see in the future maybe there's things like that are you lease it, or maybe it's more like a timeshare or something. I think that opens up a very bigger question that hasn't been really talked through or thought through. I think everybody dreams of owning a spaceship. Like who doesn't? I'd love a Starship. Um, I think it'll take a while for us to have vehicles in space that are civilian owned. I think there's going to be a lot more like maybe bus style services or like cruise style services, things like that, that we'll see. I'm not sure. It'll probably be, and like I don't want to make it sound sad, but it's probably going to be a few hundred years until we're at the point where your car's a rocket ship that you can go into space with, because at that point you're talking a totally different style of transportation At that point, roads wouldn't be probably used. We would be very much more into that hovering vehicle, like 50 layers of roads and things like that. So lots of changes that we would probably see within that. But it's a neat idea and it's a neat question. Um, one day, yes. Starship, probably never. But some sort of vehicle, absolutely. I think you could see possibly some companies buy Crew Dragons or Dream Chasers and have companies that own them, like, I don't know, Carnival Cruise Line. Maybe we'll buy a fleet of Dream Chasers. And, that's almost like an excursion of your cruise. Cruise ship pulls up next to Kennedy Space Center, you get out, you go for your launch. Or something. Maybe we'll see that in our lifetime with how active space flight is being in civilian flight. But I think it's going to be a lot more. We see it in the private sector where we see almost like airlines. You book a ticket and you fly with whoever the airline is that you're booking through. So it's an interesting time to be alive. Lots of those questions that we don't have direct answers for necessarily, but they're not science fiction anymore. That is very much a valid question to ask, and very much a real question to ask because people are going to be asking that. When is that next kind of change going to be? We've got vehicles, we've got RVs, we can buy and own planes if you get a license. Will there be an option for rockets? In the future, probably, yes. In our lifetime, maybe not. But maybe. We'll have to see. Let's be honest, Starship was a joke 5 years ago. No one thought Starship was going to be real. And we're looking at it, and we're going to see one hopefully launch in the next few hours. As the countdown progresses, as we wait for pad clear, there's still a number of trucks and vehicles out at the pad that we can see on Twitter, thanks to some people that are on the ground. They have evacuated the village, so that is a very good sign. We heard that from Boca Chica Mary a little while ago, so that does mean that they've cleared the area. The NOTAM is in place, the marine warning is in place, so they are progressing that way. But we just gotta wait for pad clear, and then we will be in the count for hopefully a launch. You're watching our live coverage of Starship SN15's high altitude flight. Stay with us. So seeing some questions in the chat on what time is launch, aka when hop. We've all been asking ourselves this for a couple weeks. For it, we do not have an exact time as of yet. We are waiting for the pad to be clear. Once we see pad clear that and the recondenser become active, the recondenser is generally a bigger sign of activity. Generally, that means we're 45 minutes to an hour from the actual launch attempt once we see recondenser and tank farm activity. That'll give us a better idea of time. I've been seeing on Twitter some people guessing 2 p.m. Pacific. At this point, that would, let's see, it's 1:30, so it'd be 12:30 there. That would be possible, but they would have to start very soon. Like the pad would need to be cleared basically now. I also see some people in the chat mentioning I read 4 p.m. local as well. Right now it is 2:30, so I mean it is very possible that they could be targeting, that 2 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Central, which would be math for time zones 9 UTC, 9 p.m. UTC. Um, that is possible, but we don't have a thing. The only thing that we're missing that we've had from all the other attempts is an update of the SpaceX website. And I just reloaded it, and we do not have any sort of update there yet for that. It still says SN11 on it, so we'll be keeping an eye out for that to get an update, because that's when we know that it'll be more likely to actually happen. We are seeing that the pad has been cleared, it looks like. We're just looking to see if we have seen that final police car leave and symbolize the pad is clear. Yeah, so we have had pad clear. So we're going to progress our timeline along. That's a very good sign that we are progressing towards it, because the next thing is what we're seeing. So absolutely, that could mean that they are targeting that 2 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. local launch attempt. So we'll have to wait and see. If they are targeting that, they've got right about 30 minutes until they would definitely have to have started the recondenser to be able to go for that attempt. But we'll be keeping an eye on it and seeing what happens here. But at this point, they can now proceed with the refueling procedures, and we'll be awaiting to see that venting start up here, hopefully anytime in the next 30 minutes or so. So as you can see, nobody knows anything, but we know the milestones we're looking for. We've seen this enough times that we're doing that. So take a moment, share the broadcast, let people know that the pad is clear. That's always one of the biggest things we're waiting for. They don't normally do that just because it's lunchtime. For it, they've got 3 crews that work around the clock on Starship. And hopefully this means we are heading for a launch attempt here today. Got another question here from Orange Guy. Could Earth-to-Earth Starship put airlines out of business? Some of them. I think when Earth-to-Earth Starship starts, first of all, obviously it's going to be very expensive to start with. We have no guess on what that would be. But if you take a look at what flying first class is like, and you're talking, a couple $1,000s one way, I think it's very possible that we could see that. Starship, they were hoping to have seat, I believe it was 100 to the moon. Now, obviously, that would need living space. If you're just doing Earth to Earth, you wouldn't. So you could have 6 floors of seating, if not more. We're not too sure how they would do the seating in it. It would very much depend on just even the layout of the seats and the angle of the seats. Lots of things there on how that would work that we don't know. But you definitely could fit hundreds of people into a Starship. I think I saw some projections even over 500 people, which then you're competing with some of the larger planes for it. I do not think Earth to Earth is going to be something that you have economy seating. I think you're going to have a new level of probably business class and then first class. And then maybe a new tier. I'm not too sure. Or maybe economy will be elevated to what we now know as business. And then we will see first, and then we will see like ultra lux or something where you have like surround sound windows and whatever. I don't know, but it's definitely something that I think we will see. Something like we just saw the retirement of the 747 for most airlines. We're seeing the A380 is not near as popular as it used to be because of the 787-800 plane. I think Starship very much could become one of those type of systems that you see that change again. You see that migration. Now, I do not think at that point you would be seeing, like United Airlines or someone buying Starships and operating them. This would still be your flying SpaceX. I think what we might see is more airlines starting to do kind of what like Disney does. When you fly into Orlando, if you've ever gone, like they have the option of what they call like their magic transportation or magic service. And you can get a van for more expensive, or you can get a bus that's public, type it like a public Mickey bus, basically, that takes you from the airport to the cruise terminal or the airport to your resort. I think you would see that you'd fly into, Brownsville or Orlando, and then you would have a United bus or maybe a SpaceX bus or Tesla's pick you up, take you to the pad. So I think there's very much could be, you see a combination there. A lot's got to happen long before that. At that point, you would now be talking about having orbital platforms, launch platforms all over the world, and landing platforms. So that would be a huge upgrade to the SpaceX system that I don't think most of the world has really thought through the idea of, you having these massive oil platforms by every major city. They were talking about doing, it looked like, flying into cities that were inland. So what would that look like? Because we know right now they want to launch the super heavy boosters from the coastlines out at sea because of the volume. So we could see them having to buy these larger plots of land and doing that. So another one of those questions, a lot more questions than we have answers. But that is something that they want to do, and is definitely something we will see in our lifetime, is Starship being an option. I would be very excited, once Starship's proven, if I can never get to space, but I could still fly on a Starship. Sounds pretty good to me. We're going to go to space, though. That's the goal. That's the goal with the channel. One day, when it's safe, whether it's on the New Shepard with capsule, or it's on Starship, or it's on Virgin Orbit, or it's on, all these different options that are out there now, whether it's a suborbital flight, or it's an orbital flight, or it's to the space station or something, goal in life, we're going to go. And we'll, of course, take you along with us. But we've probably got a few years till that happens. Got to prove these things first. If you offered me a Crew Dragon seat right now, sure, I would take that one. Elon, call me. But if you're just joining us, welcome. My name's Zachary Albert. I'm the host here at the pad. And normally I would be on screen. I might pop on a little later, but we're just keeping this full view up here. You're watching our live coverage of Starship SN15 with its high altitude flight. Things have been progressing along. We are currently waiting to see that recondenser become active at 12 o'clock. The road closed on time, and we just saw pad clear occur about 15 minutes ago. So the next thing we are waiting for is pad clear, and that's when, or sorry, is the recondenser, and that is when things really start to pick up. We're able to start guessing on when we will be seeing a launch attempt. So we're keeping an eye on that, and we'll bring those to you as we get an estimated T0. So stick with us. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. I'm here answering those live. It can be about SpaceX, Starship, or anything space. Here at the Launchpad, we cover space, space flight, space engineering, the future space, and thrilled to have you here with us again. If you're watching over on Facebook, I invite you, come join us over on YouTube. We always go live on Facebook for our launch events, but we do one-on-one interviews, news, flash updates, and more exclusively over on our YouTube. So the link's in the chat there for you. Come on over, hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. We're planning some of our first giveaways, so excited to share those with you here in the near future as well. So make sure you're staying with us and hit that subscribe button and share the broadcast and let people know that we are hopefully within about an hour to 2 hours of Starship SN15 flying through the air. Also, if you want to go behind the scenes a little bit and connect with the community directly 24/7, join our Discord. There'll be a link in the description and in the chat here. We've got a whole public free side of Discord where you can connect with me directly. We do our weekly night hangout, which we're going to be doing later tonight. So make sure you've subscribed and join us for that, where we're talking everything space. We're going to be flying some of your Kerbal spacecraft and just hanging out for our weekly night hangout. Also, if you're interested in going a little bit further behind the scenes, getting early access to videos, scripts, discount codes, and a bunch of stuff there, consider joining us over on our Patreon. Our tiers start at just $1.50. Definitely not expected, but it's greatly appreciated. Any support that you can drop in, that it all 100% goes back into the channel, so we can try to get to have people down on the ground to bring you the best possible coverage that we can do. And those links are in the chat there for you. We got a question from Golden. How do you think the HLS conflict will end up? That's a hard one. I think, like, I've been reading through it. I haven't been able to read the entire Dynetics protest, but it's very similar to what we read from Blue Origin. I think there's a great possibility that we will see the GAO come back and tell NASA that they need to maybe make a second choice as a contingency or something there, or they need to at least offer Blue Origin and Dynetics the opportunity to like adjust their bid and then take a consideration. I don't think there's really any. There was no SpaceX's bid was so different from Dynetics and Blue Origins that I don't think it was a surprise that they picked it. But we also know that the government loves competition, and that is what is needed. This is the 7th contract that they have won, and I think that's a big thing that Blue Origin and Dynetics are challenging, because like if Blue Origin and Dynetics leave and something ever happened to SpaceX, or SpaceX decided, no, we're too busy, we need to focus on our own stuff and not government contracts, you might not have other options. So you do need to keep those. You also don't want those other companies going and working for other nations. So I think there's a lot of politics in it that's there. So yeah, but keep the questions coming in. Good one there, Golden, for it. If you're on our Discord, jump in. You can jump in the live Hangout audio call, and I'll be in there as well. And we can chat while we await the Starship SN15 high altitude flight. We're just waiting on the recondenser. Some rumors were pointing that we were expecting a T0 in about an hour and 10 minutes. So if that is going to happen, we need to see the recondenser become active in the next 30 minutes. So you're watching our live launch coverage of Starship SN15. Oh, we've got Marcus. Hi from Germany again. As always, we all appreciate your great broadcast. Totally love it. Let's go SN15 and come back safely. Well, thank you, Marcus. It's so great to have you back here. Thanks for tuning in again. What time is it in Germany right now? See, it's like 2 plus, I think it's 9 o'clock. So in the evening there. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we won't be keeping you up too late for the launch attempt today, but appreciate that you're always here and glad you enjoy them for that there. And yeah, let's go SN15. Let's have a good flight and let's have a good landing. A lot more progress has happened at the pad. There's a lot more targets that it could hit, and we don't want that to happen. So we want Starship to be safe and not damage that nose cone that we're still waiting to see testing, and the construction of those new ground support tanks. We did see some of those. Some people have called them like the skate ramps or the motorbike jump ramps or even monster truck ramps, if you're to be honest about their scale. We don't want to see any of that damage, so they've started to build some kind of berms up. As I think they probably expect to lose a few more starships along the way, but hopefully we will finally see a successful launch here. You're watching our live launch and test coverage of Starship SN15 live from Starbase, Texas. This is the launch pad. Stay with us. So we've got a question here. Got a question here from Paul. Hello from Utah. Hello. I've had family live there. Been there many times. As none of the previous starships have made it back in one piece, has there been any word on if they've actually been learning from the heat tiles they have been testing out? I definitely think they've been learning something for the fact that they keep expanding and putting more on. I'm not sure they would necessarily waste the funds. We did see that during the static fire tests with SN15 that they did have some cracking on the heat tiles. So they definitely are being able to do some learning. I think even when with the explosions, they would be able to gather some of the remaining heat tiles and see how they've fared, because Starship's going to get really hot during reentry. Like, they are designed to handle heat. Now, maybe not full rocket explosion, bomb looking heat, but definitely there. So we haven't heard really anything directly on that. But I would assume the fact that they keep adding more and more and more, that we are expecting to see that. We've got some people joining in. Hello, Dragon. Hello, Orion. We've got Mr. Angels in the house. Hello. Lots of people checking in. So let us know where you're watching from. Let us know in the chat what odds you're giving SN15 to land. I'm personally thinking in like the 75 to 80% of it. I think the fact that they didn't have to change out Raptors through the 2 static fires is a really good sign. Yeah, but let us know in the chat, what percentage do you think Starship SN15 will launch, belly flop, and land perfectly? And what percent of chance do you think it will launch, belly flop, come back down, and then have some sort of issue in the last like 20 seconds like we've seen? So let us know in the chat what you're thinking will happen here. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So, if you're just joining us, welcome back. My name's Zachary Albert. I'm the host here at the Launch Pad. Here at the pad, we cover everything space, space flight, space engineering, and the future of space. And you're watching our live coverage of Starship SN15's high altitude flight. We've been hearing a number of rumors that they were targeting now a 3:30 p.m. Attempt. At this point, that would not be possible. We would be definitely targeting later than that. Is takes about 30 to 40 minutes to get to the part where they're actually ready for launch. Once we see that recondenser become active, so we're keeping an eye on that. But everything is in place. All the TFRs, the NOTAMs, the FAA, everything's ready to go. And asked you a few minutes ago what odds you were giving, so we thought we'd just go through here, see what odds people were thinking they had for their attempt here today. In the chat, we're seeing Felix is giving it 90% perfect flight. Orange guy 65%. Golden saying judging by how the static fires went, and that there are Raptor upgrades. Confident. Oh, I'm gonna say your name. I'm not even gonna attempt to say it. Sorry. It starts with a Z or a Z. 90% chance. Really hope they make it. Wonder if Elon's there from Orion. Good question. We do know he was in New York for rehearsals. Ooh, we're seeing a little bit more flap testing on Starship right now. The top left flap has bent back in. So we'll keep an eye and see what's going to be happening there as we await this T0 or the recondenser, one or the other. We saw Elon was in New York getting ready for Saturday Night Live in a few days. He had some rehearsals. We did see the second SpaceX jet arrive in Brownsville about an hour or so ago. So it's possible that he flew back, but it's possible he also will be stuck in New York for preparing for Saturday Night Live, as they only have a few days to get ready for that. And it is live. Mr. Angel, my perfect flight chance estimate 50-50. Orion, I'm thinking 70% to stick the landing. So close last time. SN10 was the closest so far, I think, from Orange Guy. Yeah, absolutely. They've had some really good attempts. I think the fact that it's just the slowing down part is really great. That's the kind of last part they're needing to work on. And we'll take a look and see what's happening. Okay, now both the top flaps have folded in. We can sort of see it just a little bit on this view at the very top. There's just a little bit more of a kind of a glimmer of light at the top that used to be not there, and that's where we can see that flap is bent in. So they're doing obviously some flap testing. We saw some RCS testing earlier, so we're going to be waiting and seeing what is happening. So we're either going to see vehicles return to the pad, which we do not want to see, or we will see the recondenser become active. Those are the two things we'll be looking for that'll give us an idea which way we're going to be going. But you're watching our live launch coverage of Starship SN15 right here on the launch pad. I'm going to pull up some space tunes while we sit here and hang out and wait. So just give me a moment to pull those up. I'll be here answering your questions. So make sure you are sending those in. Would love to answer those for you as we hang out and wait for what we hope to be a successful launch and landing of Starship SN15. You are watching the Launchpad Live. Stay with us. Well, and good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending where you are watching from. We are now seeing that tank farm activity, something we've been waiting for all afternoon to see. So we're going to progress our timeline along, and that is a very good sign as we are currently sitting estimated about 35 to 40 minutes away from the T0 based on the recondenser and the tank farm activity. You can see that tank farm activity through the haze here, unfortunately getting a little bit thicker as the day goes on. Hopefully it will hold out for us. We are keeping an eye on SpaceX's website and YouTube and Twitter to see if they will be doing an update and bringing a live stream here for this launch test of Starship SN15. If you are watching us over on Facebook, I invite you to join us over here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. We set a goal of hitting 1,500 subscribers before SN15. Our original goal was 1,000. We've blown through that. So we're over about 150 or so away from that. So if you're joining us, make sure to hit the subscribe button. It's a huge help to the channel. But we are currently sitting, about 35 minutes away from when we are expecting to have a possible launch attempt of Starship SN15. Today, just a kind of quick breakdown of what we're expecting to see today is that Starship will launch and fly to about a 10-kilometer altitude. Through that time, while it's launching, we'll expect to see the 3 engines be throttled down, one shut off, throttle back up, and go through, and they will slowly throttle down and shut off the first and the second engine, leaving just one remaining, which will throttle down as Starship approaches its apogee. That engine will do a little kick maneuver, and then that will put Starship into the belly flop, and then they will shut down that engine. Starship will then belly flop it down back towards the ground for quite a number of minutes before at least 2, if not 3 engines will ignite, which will do kind of a kick maneuver, which makes Starship go from a horizontal position and orientation to back to vertical like at launch. And then the engines will gimbal and maneuver, and hopefully for the first time today we will see a slow down enough that it will be able to have a successful landing, and that is the hope. We're hoping SN15 is the one. This is you can kind of think about it as like a block 2 of Starship. This is the first one of the next generation of them, SN8, 9, 10, and 11, up to what was originally scheduled as 14, but got cut off after 11, was kind of the first generation, and then they had some bigger changes, and SN15 through 19 will have those. Many people are expecting that SN15, 16, and maybe 17 will fly. 18 and 19 will be scrapped, and we will go directly to SN20. Now, exciting thing about SN20 is that is when we will be targeting it to be paired up with Super Heavy booster number 3, which will be the first booster to do an orbital flight test, and with Starship. So this summer, hopefully in July, they're thinking we will see a possible Starship orbital test, which be very exciting. Only a year and a half after really started pouring into it, would be really amazing to see that happen. While we're waiting to hopefully have a SpaceX feed come up here, let us know in the chat where you are watching from. Send in any questions you do have. We're going to be live until we see either the launch and the landing, which that's what we're hoping for, or that dreaded S word that we're not even going to say because we're not going to see it today. And we are excited to be bringing you this coverage. We want to give a shout out to our friends over at spadre.com for this great, little hazy, but great view of Starship. We're appreciative. It is getting a little bit hazier as the afternoon goes on, but we're going to keep this live here and hopefully bring you that SpaceX feed as they go live. I see we got Pete in Omaha, Gamestrom in California. I'm in Canada. I know we had Marcus earlier that I believe was Germany. We had another Marcus that was normally in Florida, but it's in New Jersey, who's a friend and team member of the channel. People all over the world tuning in. It's an exciting day to hopefully see SN15 fly. We've been waiting. We got James in Texas, and that tank farm is really spooling up here. So things are progressing well. We're currently targeting a T0 at about 18 minutes after the hour, based on kind of estimates from Adrian on Twitter, who's been pretty good at estimating when all of these will be. So we're excited to see what's happening. But let us in the chat what you think is going to happen here today. Let us know if we should launch this thing. Give us a go, no go in the chat. We've got Orion in Tennessee. We got Orange in Mexico. E-Town, Canada can't even launch a potato yet. There is a rocket company over in Eastern Canada that is most likely going to have their first launch attempt maybe this year. So we might soon be on the map. We were also a very critical part of the space program, and I'm kind of proud of that because I live in the city just south of where one of the very few emergency runways for the space shuttle program was. Unfortunately and unfortunately, it never got used, but we did have that just north of the city I'm in. Up until the very end, it almost got used once, and unfortunately, someone had built on the runway at the military base, so it wasn't usable. But we were an important part of it. Also, there would be no space shuttle deployment system, and there would be no International Space Station without the Canadarms. You're right, Orange Guy. And Canadarm 3 is going to be critical for the new Lunar Gateway Station. So we might not launch the rockets, but we bring the critical components to it. We got the Luke from New Hampshire. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Zachary Albert. I'm the host here at the Launch Pad. Here at the pad, we cover everything space, space flight, space engineering, and the future of space. And you're watching us live on YouTube or Facebook. If you're on Facebook, come on over, join us on YouTube. We always go live on all our platforms for launches or Starship coverage, but we do a lot of other content as well. We do exclusive one-on-one interviews, news updates, flash news updates, some other videos, and our weekly nightly hangout, which we are planning to have later this evening, depending how Starship goes here today. So make sure you've subscribed to us on YouTube so you never miss a new video. We are very excited to have some big plans coming for you here in the near future. If you haven't yet, you can follow us over on Twitter at TLPN_official. That's where we live tweet updates as we hear them throughout the day, so you can stay up to everything there. Also, if you want to join us on Discord, the link is in the description. It's free to join. You can connect with me directly, get some early access and behind the scenes and different things there. Also, if you want to help support the channel and get extra early access, discounts in our store, and some other exclusive perks, check out our Patreon. It's definitely not expected, but it's very, very greatly appreciated. That helps make this channel possible and us expand our team to bring you the best possible coverage. We've got big plans to be down at Kennedy and maybe even Texas within the year with our own team and gear, and we are excited to take you along with us. And we are seeing that SpaceX has launched their website. There is an update. They are going live in 32 minutes, 49 seconds. So SpaceX is making an attempt. We're going to pull this up here so you guys can see it, but we will be having an attempt today. Very exciting to see that they have scheduled it because they always wait to the very last possible minute to schedule an attempt. And we're going to pull up this feed here so you can see it in just a moment because that will give us our countdown. And very exciting day here as we will be watching. They scheduled it quickly because their website just says, watch our ship fly. There's no other information on the website, but we'll be bringing that to you here. Let's get this open. There we go. And we will turn this on so you guys can see it. There we go. And hello, everyone. I know I've been off camera most of the day, but it's good to be here. Welcome to the launch pad. Excited to be bringing you this coverage as we approach a T0. Now knowing SpaceX will be going live in about 31 minutes here. So we will, of course, be monitoring that. This is no longer a drill. We are seeing activity. The next thing we will be expecting to see is prop load. So we are definitely going to be watching out for that here. But I'm going to take a quick break, make sure we've got everything left and set up here so we can fully cover this all the way through. So give me just a couple of minutes and I will be right back. You're watching the Launchpad Live with our live coverage of Starship SN15, and we are just minutes away from launch. Stay with us. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome here to the Launch Pad. If you're new, my name's Zachary Albert. I'm the host here at the Launch Pad, and you're watching our live launch coverage of Starship SN15. We are currently watching SpaceX as they have now gone live and will be scheduled to start their stream in about 25 minutes at the good old time of 4:20 on May 5th. So we will see what happens here and see if they go live actually a couple minutes early. Based on what we were seeing with the recondenser, we were targeting about 18 minutes after the hour, which is just a couple minutes later than what their stream is saying. So wouldn't be the first time that they went live a couple minutes earlier than scheduled. But you know, Elon, he loves those times here. We're going to switch over to this feed setup here. So we have this view thanks to our friends at spadre.com for connecting with us with this feed so that we're able to take a look into, from about 6 miles away, take a look over towards Starbase and see what Starship is doing. At this point, we are now transitioned over into prop load, so we will progress our timeline along here. And really the next steps that we are expecting to see is engine chill, and then we will be at launch. So we are getting very close to what we are expecting for today. An exciting time as Starship SN15 soon will be launching. We hope everything's progressing well. And some reports from down in the region is that Isla Beach Park is absolutely packed with cameras. People are very excited. The world is watching, and Starship is here. This new space race is on. So we're finally almost there. While we wait for it and wait for SpaceX to go live here, just going to jump on really quick and give you an idea of what we're expecting to see today. Thanks to our friends over at Bohimzo, we have some amazing models behind us, and we're going to be doing some individual videos on these in the very near future. But some really incredible details, even to the engines and that interior wall detail. So make sure to stay with us. We're going to be doing some details. But what we're expecting to see today is that SN15 will launch. All 3 engines will ignite during launch. It will rise to an altitude or an apogee of about 10 kilometers, but during that time, the engines will be throttled and shut down one at a time. The engines are so strong, they couldn't leave all 3 ignited. They would blow through their apogee. So they will launch, they will slowly throttle down one, shut it off, throttle down another, and the last will come on. It will get to its apogee, and it normally does almost like a little hover slide. There, it will then kick itself over into a belly flop position with its fins. And this is where the fins really start to take over, and you will see them bend and really take control. Starship normally tips down a little bit, and then it balances itself out all automatically with the fins. It will then belly flop down. We normally have a camera on the side shooting back at the fin here, sometimes at the front as well. So we hopefully will see that as it's a clearer day. And we didn't have those views last time. It will belly flop down to very, very low. We don't have the exact height just yet, but it's very low. And then at least 2, if not all 3 engines will ignite. Starship will do a kick maneuver, pendulum type thing. It slides to the side, comes back, doesn't go all the way, but a little bit, comes back, and then will hopefully come down and land smoothly. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see anything like this or any of this stuff like we've seen before. We want to see a nice, perfect landing. Now, today we're watching SN15. This is the first time we have had this kind of new version of Starship. There was lots of interior changes to the mechanics and the systems. We don't know everything, but we do know Elon had said SN15 was the one that was going to have some major changes. So we are expecting good things out of this one. Prop load began about 6 minutes ago, so they are slowly fueling up Starship, and we are sitting at about 23 minutes until we are expecting SpaceX to go live. So I know we've been here all day. Share the broadcast out. Let people know that we are closing in on when we should be seeing that attempt. If you have questions, let us know in the chat. We'll be staying live through this launch attempt and ending thanks to our friends at Spadre. Sometimes we're able to see over towards the landing pad, depending how it goes, but it is quite hazy today. So we'll be staying live, of course, but yeah, send in your questions. Let us know in the chat what you think is going to be happening with today's flight. Do you think SN15 is going to nail it, or are we going to get another rud of our good old friend Starship? Love to hear your thoughts. Also, let us know where you're watching from. I know a few minutes ago we had Omaha, California, Texas, Tennessee, Mexico, Canada. We have New Jersey, Florida, people all over the world, and very excited that you're here, and welcome. If you're watching over on Facebook, make sure you are joining us over on YouTube just for the best possible experience, and hit the subscribe button. It really does help out the channel, and is where you can make sure that you never miss another video. We're very excited to bring you our Starship coverage, as well as Starlink, Soyuz, Rocket Lab, and many others, all in one place. So exciting day as we finally are about to see Starship SN15 hopefully have a launch here today. Yeah, we're almost there, Orange Guy. Orion, hope she sticks that landing. Yeah, absolutely. We really hope she sticks landing. We got Becky from Maine. Hello, welcome. I know Maine has its Blue Shift Aerospace, I believe it is. It's a smaller aerospace company, smaller rockets, but they're doing bio-derived fuel, which is really amazing. So we covered them on their first launch not too long ago, and hopefully we will see another attempt from them here in the near future. We're currently sitting at about 20 minutes until we're expecting SpaceX to go live here for that good old 4:20 time for the launch of Starship SN15. We're watching the weather right now. There is some ground winds, but nothing crazy. Oh, and we are seeing venting on Starship, which means we are moving over into engine chill, which is a very good thing to see here. So we're going to press our timeline along. So our next thing is launch. That's what we're waiting for. Anytime in kind of the next 20 minutes is what we're expecting for today's attempt. So we're waiting to see. Now we will see the tri-vent. We just did a simple timeline here today, but we will be expecting to see the tri-vents activate on all three sides, and that will help symbolize more of the engine chill and everything there in the propellant loading process. Those vents will go off. They will then shut down for a quick second, and then they will burst again, and then have a very overburst, and that is when we expect to see that ignition. So we're keeping an eye on that, but we are seeing that methane vent here, which is a good sign that engine chill should be occurring in just the next couple of minutes as we prepare. If you wonder why I'm looking to the sides, I got 3 monitors, and we're trying to make sure we have everything here for you and can keep you up to date with what's going on. But we are taking a look and seeing if there's any update from SpaceX here. So yeah, right now we're thinking that it will be at 5:18 and 5 seconds, according to Adrian Beal, the spreadsheet guy over on Twitter, who's been pretty accurate. So he's thinking between 5:16 and 5:18 for it, which is actually very close to when they did their 2 static fires. The first static fire of SN15 was at 5:18:09, and the second static fire, which was with the header tanks, was at 5:23:51. So keeping almost online of the 2 static fire attempts here today with their tests. So we will see what is happening. We'll see if any update is on the SpaceX website, or if it just says watch Starship fly. It doesn't even say that. Yeah, just says SN15 flight test. But there is a little info here. As early as May 5th, the SpaceX team will attempt a high-altitude flight test of serial number SN15. It'll be a high-altitude test. Now, are they saying they are doing a 10-kilometer attempt here again with the vehicle's apogee? They will be shutting down the engines again. SN15 will perform a propellant transition to internal header tanks, which hold landing propellant before reorienting itself for reentry and a controlled aerodynamic descent. So everything that we kind of have seen before, nothing too different, just a little more information of like, this is why they don't want to land on runways. It's faster turnaround, in-space refueling. A little more information as people have been challenging, does Starship make sense trying to land? Why don't they land it like a plane? But if it works, it does make a lot of sense. So definitely something to watch here, as one of these times they're going to nail it, and they'll do what they did with Falcon 9 and show that you can land a rocket shortly after launching. And then soon we will hopefully see a launch landing and then move it over to the pad and launch again, as they do want to get to that prototypes for Earth-to-Earth transport. But their first goal is cargo Starship, get it into orbit so they can start deploying their Starlink satellites, as they are on the clock for that. But we'll be monitoring here. So we're going to pull this up full screen here for you until we see SpaceX go live. If you have questions, let us know in the chat, as we are monitoring and waiting for that full engine chill, and then we will be standing by for ignition and launch of Starship SN15. You're watching the launch pad live with our live coverage of the launch attempt. Stay with us. Testing 1, 2, 1. Okay, so we got a question here from I'm gonna probably say your name wrong, but Bahai. Sorry, I don't know. I'm saying it wrong. I know. Engine chill. Engine chill is when they are literally starting to chill the engines. Obviously, the engines will get very warm during the ignition sequence and during launch, so they chill the sides of them, and that prepares them for that launch attempt. We got Orion in the room. Hello, welcome back, Steven, Jamie, lots of people. As we are awaiting, and SpaceX, we are expecting to go live in the next 10 to 12 minutes with their launch coverage, which we're very excited to have, which means we'll get these great views as usual from them. And we are very excited to bring those to you here. Luckily, it's not as foggy of a day, so we should have some better views than we did from SN11. The reason the camera you're seeing right now is a little hazy is it's over 6 miles away. So we are expecting to that to get a little bit heavier just as the heat and the humidity gets in there with the atmospheric distortion. But we'll bring the SpaceX feed up the moment it goes live. We've got it all prepped here for you, so we don't miss anything there. If you have questions, don't forget you can drop those in the chat. We're answering them live on air and love to answer those for you. So we've got a question here from. I'm sorry, I'm not going to tempt your name. We're going to say G. I don't want to butcher people's names. I have a last name people mess up all the time, and I know how it feels. So we'll just call you G. Can the Starship upper stage alone go orbital? Now, Elon has basically said like they probably could get it to orbit if they really stripped it back, but not with a full payload. So it is not something that could go orbital by itself. It could get pretty much, just to kind of apogee for it. Now, it is something people are wondering, could they use it to do the Earth-to-Earth transport for like shorter hops? So that's very much a possibility. So we'll have to watch and see on that. But most likely everything will be using the super heavy booster for it, just based on the engines that it has. But good question. Keep those coming, as we are now less than 10 minutes until we're expecting SpaceX to start up their stream, and that is when we will finally get a solid T0 time. If you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Zachary Albert. I'm the host here at the Launchpad, and you're watching our live launch coverage of Starship SN15 with its high altitude test flight today. SpaceX is targeting a liftoff time right around 4:20 p.m., of course, and they will be aiming for an apogee of about 10 kilometers. This is the fifth Starship that we will have seen a launch, the first of this kind of second generation of them that had a lot of changes on board. But we're here answering your questions as we wait. If you're new to the Launchpad, make sure you have joined us over on Facebook. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss a new video. Plug in with us over on our Twitter at TLPN_official. That's how you can stay up to date with late breaking space news as it happens, and go behind the scenes and connect with me directly over on Discord so you can know when future videos are coming, Discord specific streams, and different things like that. We've got a question here from Orion. When they put people on Starship, where will they be in the nose? Yeah, so if we're looking at Starship here, and I'll pull up my camera because it'll be just a little bit easier for us to see. When you're looking at the Starship for where the people are going to be, it's going to be in this kind of top half section. So if you look here, there's a little bit of a kind of seam. This is where the actual like top of what we were seeing with SN5 and 8 are, and then there's the top portion here. That is where the crew will be minus the header tank. So the estimate is that there will be about 6 to 8 floors in there based on the lunar Starship. We have some other event models that we'll be showing here in the next couple of days. And if you hang out with us tonight during our weekly Hangout stream where we play Kerbal and Fly your builds sent to us over on Discord, we can dive a little deeper into some of those kind of models and templates. But it'll be in the top half of Starship is where they will be placing that there. And we are now seeing very, very strong tri-vents, which means we are definitely into the final moments of the countdown. We are expecting to see SpaceX go live here in about 5 minutes. We are into engine chill, so it'll be exciting to see that as well. Yeah, tri-event occurrence, absolutely. So very exciting thing. That means we are definitely going towards a launch attempt here. When we have launch, we will take our little feed down so you get the full view from their feed with their countdown clock as well, and get those full views as they should go live here in just the next couple of minutes. Take a moment, share the broadcast, let people know that we are just minutes away from launch of Starship SN15. This is the time to tune in. Some of us have been here all day, but this is the time people want to join if they want to see that launch attempt. Now, remember, this is a prototype vehicle. It is very possible that we could see a RUD or an explosion or a flight termination or an abort even. Starship can abort itself, or it can be aborted by the SpaceX team as well. We have seen that before where it got down to like 3 seconds and aborted. So they want to make sure that they are doing this right and they're doing it safe. So make sure that is something to be aware of, that we need to know. We are watching what you normally don't get to see, which is the very early prototypes of rockets. There was very few people that got to see this during Apollo, and almost nobody documented it during the shuttle testing. So definitely something to watch here as we are waiting the attempt of the launch of Starship SN15. But very strong tri-event, which is a very good thing, meaning that we are just minutes away. Absolutely, Orange Guy. We are witnessing history. That's a really good way of thinking about it. It's something, this is something that when Starship is that everyday normal car, we can say, yeah, I was there. Well, maybe not in person, but I watched it. Through a pandemic, I saw it. It's very exciting to see that. And we're excited to be bringing that to you here. We hope to be down in Boca Chica at Starbase in the near future when we can. But we will see how to do that. If you'd like to help the channel continue and to grow and bring you the best possible coverage of not only Starship, but Falcon 9, Rocket Lab, and all those things, check out our Patreon. The link is in the description here. It's definitely not expected, but it's greatly, greatly appreciated as it will help us grow the channel. We want to say thank you to all the support we've got from our first Patreons. You have made it possible, even just this first month, to really start diving deeper into things. And we are so grateful for you. Of course, there are Patreon perks that you can get with discounts of our merch, behind the scenes, earlier access to stuff. So definitely take a look there. And then starts at just $1.50. So thanks for taking a look there. And that's where we're going to leave that. But we are coming up on just 3 minutes until when we are expecting SpaceX to go live. So we will be watching that. We are deep into engine chill, which means we are approaching launch imminent. So we are getting down to the wire of Starship SN15 finally taking flight. And here we go. We've got SpaceX pulled up. We're going to make sure we've got this at the highest quality we can get from them. There we go. There's the 4K that we want. And there we go. We're going to be listening in to hopefully hear.
OSC on countdown.
Copy, go ahead.
OSC, at this time, do we have concurrence that we've properly enforced the public risk clearance criteria set in our procedures and that our FAA license is intact?
Affirmative to both. I have checked in with...
Good afternoon. You're looking at SpaceX's Starship Suborbital Test Vehicle number 15, countdown to flight in just under 5 minutes. It was almost 5 weeks ago. We launched Starship 11 on a test flight from the adjacent Pad B. Today's flight is from Pad A. Our demonstration objective again is with the last 4 flights. Slowly climb to 10-kilometer altitude, which will take about 4 minutes, turning off engines on the way up as we burn off propellant mass. Once we reach 10 kilometers altitude, we will begin the horizontal descent back to the landing zone adjacent to the launch pad. If all goes well, we'll light 3 engines to flip the stage back to vertical and eventually land on a single engine. This flight includes multiple upgrades and improvements to address the findings from the rapid unplanned disassembly we experienced on the last flight. The vehicle also incorporates changes that get us closer to the orbital configuration planned for flight later.
And this is what we've been waiting for. We are now T-minus 3 minutes until the launch of Starship SN15. As you heard, there's some changes that they've made, getting closer to that orbital style of rocket. The design won't change much, but visually there might be some changes, but lots of internal, I'm sure. But as we pass through that T-minus 3 minute mark, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what odds you give Starship SN15 of making a successful landing attempt, and make sure that you have shared the broadcast and let people know. We've been waiting all day for this. We are finally here. If you're watching over on Facebook, make sure to come join us over on YouTube. That's the best place to come join us, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. We set a goal of 1,500 subs before SN15. The original goal was 1,000. We've blown through that, and we're so grateful. But let's see if we can get to 1,500 in the next couple minutes here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. But yeah, we're coming down to T-minus 2 minutes. Let's see, we got a 50-50, 9.5 out of 10. I'm giving it like a 75-80. The fact that they didn't have to
T-minus 2 minutes, we continue to count down for Starship 15 flight. Pellet load is complete in the liquid oxygen system on the Starship. Methane fuel load is also complete on the Starship.
Come on. Again, they're going to be going for a 10-kilometer apogee like we've seen with the last couple tests. Then they will go into a belly flop. And then we hope to see that perfect landing where it comes down, pendulums back, comes back to a center, and slowly touches down. We don't want none of this sideways stuff we've seen the last couple times. And hopefully we will see that here today. I'm going all in and saying they will land at 100%.
All systems remain go for the flight of Starship 15.
And here we go.
Getting ready
Last
to disconnect
minute.
the quick disconnect from the vehicle in preparation for flight.
Now, there could be a brief hold around the 13-second. We've seen that before. 30 seconds. Come on. We're at 20. 15. Right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Liftoff. Go. Come on. Look at her go. Seagull, get out of the way. And we have liftoff. There she goes. Come on, SN15, through the clouds. Hopefully that's not a sign. There we go. The camera
plus
coming
30
back
seconds.
there.
Starship 15 is airborne as we get a view of the 3 Raptor engines as we're powering our way to 10 kilometers altitude in today's test flight.
You can see that's Raptor engine 61. I believe there was 57 and another one on board. We're keeping an eye there. And you can see that exhaust as it bursts through the clouds. Come on, we're at T plus 1 minute.
Just past 1 minute into flight, we're through 2 kilometers altitude. All 3 Raptor engines continuing to burn. Next major event, about 1 minute, is we will turn off the first of the 3 Raptor engines.
It looks like a good clean burn compared to what we've seen on some of the others. Last couple flights, we've seen a little bit more of a purple glow on a couple of the Raptors. These ones looked all very even, clean colored. We are expecting to see that first shutdown. And it looks like the camera froze, but we're still hearing rumbling.
Coming up at T plus 2 minutes, we appear to have frozen the view from the engine cameras. However, the Raptor engine's continuing to perform, and we've got shutdown on engine 3 on time.
Okay. Can we have cameras back, please? There we go. That still looks frozen. We still have audio.
T plus 2 minutes, 40 seconds. While we're trying to regain video from the vehicle, we continue to ascend. We have just passed the 8-kilometer point in flight. Everything continues to look good on Starship 15.
Come on, get us the camera back. So we should be doing the belly flop here probably the next 60 seconds.
Coming up on 3.5 minutes into flight, we're approaching the 10-kilometer altitude. We'll begin to hover here. We've had engine number 2 shut down on time. We'll now be moving into the hover with 1 engine. And then in a little bit, we will begin the flip over to horizontal position and begin our descent. But hopefully a ground camera will be able to bring us live views of the flight.
Even John's like, we want a view. Yeah, telemetry would be amazing to see. There we go. We get the cameras. Oh, there's the kick. So that's going to be starting, and it froze again. So we do know at this
point... Just past T plus 4 minutes into flight. We've got the views back from the Raptor engines.
So we're in belly flop. So we're seeing a view right now that's actually on the top
We
side
get T plus
of it.
4 minutes 34 seconds. While we're working to regain video, it looks like
I'm
we've
not
got
sure
a
that's
shot
supposed to
looking
be
back
on
at flaps
screen.
on Starship. We're in the horizontal descent phase now. We're passing 6 kilometers. A reminder, phase that's coming up as we get ready for landing. We will light 3 Raptor engines, flip the vehicle from horizontal to vertical. If things look good, we will shut down 1 Raptor engine and then possibly a second one and land on a single engine in the landing zone. 5 minutes into flight, Raptor continuing to descend. We're coming up on 3 kilometers altitude.
We're come on. What do you guys think? Let us know in the chat. Is it gonna land? It's coming down. Oh, such interesting angles. You can see those heat tiles on the bottom as it's coming down. And there's the gimbal and the pivot.
And we have ignition.
1, 2, come on.
Starship
Come on.
heading back to the landing
Come on.
zone.
Come on. Come on. Did clear the fog. We have a standing Starship. What?
And Starbase flight control has confirmed, as you can see on the live video, we are down. The Starship has landed.
There's a fire
We're going
again.
through the safing sequence in the flight computer right now. We'll be back in a moment.
Get rid of the fire. Now, are they going to stay live for the 9 minutes like last time when it landed? Come on. There's the fire extinguishers turned on. Get rid of that fire.
Well, if you've just joined us, you missed a great flight. Right now we have successfully landed in the landing zone, right on the concrete. You can see we do have a small fire at the base of the vehicle, not unusual with the methane fuel that we're carrying as we continue to work on the test vehicle design.
Get rid of the fire.
You may be able to see water going on the pad from the water cannons. But again, Starship 15 powered by 3 Raptor engines. We have successfully launched it from our facility in South Texas, landed after a routine flight where we shut engines down on the way to 10 kilometers, executed the horizontal unpowered descent, and then we got some great views of the engines lighting up as we came down for a landing at a nice slow velocity onto the concrete landing pad. The past 2 weeks have been full of accomplishments by the SpaceX team. We've had the incredible launch of the Crew 2 astronauts on the Crew Dragon Resilience. We've had the first nighttime landing and recovery of the 4 astronauts on Crew Dragon Endeavor's flight last Saturday night, and 2 successful flights of Falcon 9 in the past 7 days, each carrying 60 Starlink satellites successfully into orbit. And now the SpaceX Texas team has flown a test flight of Starship with a landing back in the landing zone here in Starbase, Texas. Also like to remember, this is the 60th anniversary of the first American in space, astronaut Alan Shepard and his Mercury capsule, and SpaceX has landed Starship successfully on this date. Again, an outstanding period as we work to enable the future of human spaceflight and expansion into the solar system. And with that, we're going to conclude today's webcast with the views here of Starship 15. Thank you for joining us here at SpaceX, and have a good day.
No, John, you do not get to. No. Okay, we're going to pull up our other feed here. And, I mean, we can't see a lot, but we're going to hope we don't see a big explosion. in the next few minutes. Well, that was exciting. We didn't get to see most of it, but we saw it land. We've got one other camera I'm going to pull up and see if it can see anything a little bit more clearly here. But through that atmospheric distortion, unfortunately, we're fighting to see it. Everyone's keeping their cameras on except SpaceX this time. So we're going to pull up this other feed that we have here, which is a little bit wider. We can see Starship there. It's not as zoomed in. The zoomed cam we have is zoomed where the launch was. And we're going to keep a thing and see if we see an explosion. I'm going to keep an eye on it here. It's clearing up a little bit. Yeah, the "this is fine" meme is perfect for right now. What are we at since touchdown? About 4 minutes? Yeah, it does look from some of the other feeds that we're watching as viewers that the fire is not near as much. There is lots of venting still, though. So we'll take a look and see. And then once we have an idea that it's not going to explode, we'll do a replay of the very little that we actually got to see. We've got from Dino Load, SN15 watched 4 of its relatives dies, and now it survived. Well, maybe it finally figured out what it needed to do. Turn off all its cameras and not show us actually fly. The first of its family, absolutely. Our Discord saying it's the first one to graduate high school. Now to upgrade. College, that's when we get orbital. Masters is the moon. Doctorate, Mars. But no, it looks good. Well, we're hoping the haze will clear out a little bit, but right now we're just seeing the normal depress venting and the cold metal just in the humid, warm air. But that fire does look like it's extinguished, which means SN15's actually done it. It's going to get dinosaur legs now. Okay, yep. 9.5 out of 10, as in 0.5 engine fire. Yep. Who else is doing the chicken dance? Probably everyone at SpaceX. See, now we know Elon's hosting Saturday Night Live on Saturday. So how are they going to work this in? Did they plan 2 scripts based on if it went well or not? Because I'm not sure he actually flew down to Brownsville. I believe he's still in New York for rehearsals.
Plus 30 seconds, Starship 15 is airborne as we get a view of the 3 Raptor engines as we're powering our way to 10 kilometers altitude in today's test flight. Just past 1 minute into flight, we're through 2 kilometers altitude. All 3 Raptor engines continuing to burn. Next major event, about 1 minute, is we will turn off the first of the 3 Raptor engines.
So this is when the cameras first froze. If you're just joining us, this is a replay here. Also, if you see my mic off, some of the time that's on purpose. We're talking to our Discord. So if you want to join that, the link is in the description. It's free to join. We're in the live hangout. And that's where you get a little bit of the behind the scenes for
Coming
it.
up
So
at
join us over
2
there.
minutes,
But
we appear to have frozen the view from the engine cameras. However, the Raptor engine's continuing to perform, and we've got shutdown on engine 3 on time.
so Elon did just tweet Starship landing nominal. So that means they like what they read. So now we have to watch and see what they do with it, because this is the first time they've landed one and now had to actually work with it afterwards. So we'll be expecting to see most likely Tankzilla on the way out. Yeah, we can all breathe now and just be nervous about what Elon's going to say on Saturday Night Live.
Video from the vehicle. We continue to ascend. We have just passed the 8-kilometer point in flight. Everything continues to look good on Starship 15. Coming up on 3.5 minutes into flight, we're approaching the 10-kilometer altitude. We'll begin to hover here. We've had engine number 2 shut down on time. We'll now be moving into the hover with one engine, and then in a little bit we will begin the flip over to horizontal position and begin our descent. But hopefully a ground camera will be able to bring us live views of the flight. Just past T plus 4 minutes into flight. We've got the views back from the Raptor engines. We get T plus 4 minutes 34 seconds. While we're working to regain video, it looks like we've got a shot looking back at the flaps on Starship. We're in the horizontal descent phase now. We're passing 6 kilometers. A reminder, phase that's coming up as we get ready for landing, we will light 3 Raptor engines, flip the vehicle from horizontal to vertical. If things look good, we will shut down 1 Raptor engine and then possibly a second one and land on a single engine in the landing zone. 5 minutes into flight, Raptor continuing to descend. We're coming up on 3 kilometers altitude.
So we at least got the ground cameras back here in about another minute, 45 seconds. Cuts in and out as it's coming down. It looks like they might have actually used some of their raw camera feeds, which they don't normally use. We saw those bigger numbers on screen. I'm sure we are going to see some people tweeting about that. But absolutely, Dragon, we will do our weekly hangout tonight. We're probably going to still figure out what time we're going to do that, but that's definitely going to happen later tonight. And here's that landing attempt.
Ignition. Starship heading back to the landing zone.
Perfectly centered, but it'll do. We'll take it. It just made it on the landing pad. If it was a foot more, it might have tipped over. But that's the replay there.
And
the
Starbase flight control has confirmed it
being safed. And that was a successful landing of Starship SN15 that we just saw the replay of there. And we're watching live as the haze slowly takes over and we don't really get to see much more. But that is probably going to wrap it up for us here, as we probably won't be seeing too much more here tonight. But make sure you are following us over on Twitter at TLPN_official. We'll tweet out some photos. I'm sure SpaceX will release some here in the very near future, or some other people that were on the ground. If this is your first time joining us, thank you for watching. Make sure you've subscribed to us on Facebook, followed on Twitter, and plugged in over on our Discord. And if you want to help support the channel, check out our Patreon. It's not expected, but it's a huge help to expand the channel to do more and bring you the best possible coverage. But thank you for joining us for our 4 hours of live coverage of Starship SN15's launch attempt. Congratulations, Elon and SpaceX. And this is Zach with the Launchpad signing off. We'll see you soon, and we'll see you tonight for our weekly night hangout.